think about coaching, I think design thinking can definitely add to that. I have discussed over and over and understood that there are certain similarities and dissimilarities between design thinking and coaching. I think both of these are process-driven concepts. I was working with Maruti Suzuki in India and Japan, and I used to design cars for them. I got fortunate to do at that point of time is a program of Department of Biotechnology, where I get to study at Stanford University, the biodesign program, which is a collaboration of Stanford, IIT, and Ames. Then I'll be talking about design thinking. When you think about coaching, I think design thinking can definitely add to that. I have discussed over and over and understood that there are certain similarities and dissimilarities between design thinking and coaching. I think both of these are process-driven concepts. You follow a process and you reach to an outcome. There are things which you work towards, and most of the time you emphasis on empathy. Like in coaching, there is empathy is a very important factor, and in design thinking also is something which is very much empathy driven. Now, there are certain dissimilarities in here as well. I always realize that design is something which can do an outside in process, where you get to see many of the concepts which you understand from the ecosystem, and then you translate into products or services. So it's a kind of an ecosystem-based approach, and I'll be talking to you about design thinking, like how the process works and how you empower to find the right problem. These are the three important I's of biodesign, which I learned at Stanford, and I just wanted you to just appreciate a little bit. I won't go into the intricacies of it. So there are three ideas of identify, invent, and implement. So when I talk about identify, it is all about finding the right problems. We often look at many problems around us, but what is the right problem to solve is something which is at the core of this whole process. So I'll share some of my experiences which I have got while I was doing my immersion in various hospitals at Ames and in the peripheral hospitals. You can see that this is an image from one of the NICU, and you can imagine how complex the situation is there. This is another picture which has been taken in a dialysis center, where it's a child who is going through dialysis, and when I interacted with the parents, I got to understand that he is a daily wage worker and he doesn't have money to pay for the daily dialysis of his child. Now it's a very complex emotional process which happens. Similarly, there is a tertiary care center where 150 people who have come out to see a doctor, and the doctor has approximately 90 seconds to do the diagnosis and then give a prescription to the person. This brings us to the point of invention, which is like pretty hands-on process where you have to brainstorm, you have to really get to prototypes, and you have to find out which one works and which doesn't. So my parents walked into a child development clinic a few years back, and I was also sitting with a doctor and said, our 5-year-old kid can't talk. Ye bolta nahi hai. And after the conversation, the doctor looked at him and he said, like, ye sunta nahi hai, isliye bolta nahi hai. He's not able to hear, that's why he's not able to speak. And it's already too late to do any intervention. Now, this was a situation in many parts of India where, because of lack of right information, right medical devices, many of these children are becoming speechless for lifetime, and they won't get education or employment just because the proper screening is not being done at the right time. So these are the type of problems that you find through biodesign, and you can solve some of them with devices, with instruments, with services. Now these are like some of the examples which I wanted to give it out so that so as to emphasize on the power of design thinking and how it can be clubbed together with coaching. And I think there are a lot of possibilities which are out there. Thank you so much for your attention, and I would like to take any questions if you have.